You ready? Welcome, welcome. Welcome, one and all. Ray Chris here. This is Shaman's View.
The Shaman's View, and this week we are going to share about the Chakana, the Inca cross, Inca cosmology, really this symbol that really embodies the essence of so much wisdom and so much healing and medicine and culture.
Yeah. So if you've seen the Chakana, the medicine, the Incan cross, you can see within it the whole cosmology. It definitely is a bigger thing to dive into. Welcome all. But I want to say that the main idea, we call it the Inca cross. And I want to say two things that are important. That it's starting from the word Inca, because according to the Inca mythology, they call it the I am X. It's not a cross; it's an X, because it's the 4 points. Chakana means 4 points, and it's the 4 points of what we call in the West the Southern Cross. Right? Because of our mythology, because of our the religion, we see things in the cross. A cross is like this. Only when you look up in the sky, the Chakana is like this. And the Southern Cross, again, in the Inca, I said it's the I am X. I am in the ancient language of Quechua is Inca. I am Inca. I am. And I find it all along, all these years that I've been working with the amazing Keros, it's like the parallels between Quechua and Sanskrit are unbelievable. And the studies of yoga and the studies of shamanism and the studies of Taoism and martial arts, they're all interwoven constantly because they're talking about the same thing. Stepping out of the collective, stepping out of the mythology that's created after the Dark Ages, the terrorology that's created after the Dark Ages, terrorizing people. And after what happened in the Dark Ages, we're essentially three things were persecuted: the feminine, the animals, and magic. We then went along and created the Crusades and went down and annihilated all the Incas. 120 million Incas disappeared from the face of the earth. Let me say that again. 120 million Incas disappeared from the face of the earth, down from South Mexico all the way to Patagonia, from Jamaica and all the Virgin Islands and the Caribbean islands. All that was Inca territory. Not so much the empire, but the culture itself. Quechua language was spoken. And the Quechua went along with this belief system. The language itself is built around sacred words, which are all honoring, first of all, Mother Earth. The language itself is centered around how do we understand. Language itself is a cosmology. That's fantastic. In relationship too. In Aini. Aini is one of the biggest words. Like, how can I be in correct relationship to? Good morning, good morning. Good morning from Athens. Good morning from England. Good morning from New England. It's so good to see all of you guys here. So some amazing things are coming out and coming up, especially after the week-long retreat we just came back from Costa Rica here to Greece.
Sweetness.
But first of all, Inca means I am. And I said the parallel with yoga is because yoga, I think if there's one word in yoga that is most essential is the word Sat Nam, means I am. Discovering the I amness and in the being within the center of the heart, without those push and pull relationships or agonies or the chattering of the narrator mind that gives values to and devalues other things in order to give value to some other things. So the Chakana, the I am X, I am this, describes, I was looking to see if we actually have a Chakana.
Oh, that's so
here.
Funny. I don't know if we do.
We definitely have some Chakanas in the house.
Well, I'll see if I can find one.
In the 4 directions of the Chakana, what do you know?
Did you find one?
I found one.
Of course you did.
This was super organized here.
That was totally manifested.
The Chakana, and all of those of you who came to Costa Rica received this similar one as a gift. The Chakana has
And-
4 main directions that direct the south, the north, the west, and the east. And the circle in the middle, is the I am. And I should say, it's the X, right? It should be like this.
Yes.
And in the center of the circle describes the eye of God and the all-seeing consciousness of being. So when we move around the Chakana, we view it as a compass.
Mm-hmm.
And we get medicine from each one of these directions. And the medicines we get each come from a specific power animal.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, I'll start with the south because we're talking about the south. The southern hemisphere where this comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And to the south, we have the serpent, great Amaru. And Amaru is the great serpent mother that comes from the jungle. And according to their mythology, all of life emanates and rises up through the jungle, right? Through the ocean, through the Pacific Ocean, comes up the Amazon River and spreads up and through the Amazon jungle. And this is a fact. This is actually a historical fact. Like when we look at the evolution, the first life started in the ocean, and then slowly started creeping up and coming out to the earth, the amphibious, and then the mammals, then the birds. And these people know this in their stories, in their history, and their philosophy. So serpent, the great Amaru, is not only the serpent that rises, brings the serpent that is also the Amazon, is also Urubamba, the great river, the sacred river that runs through the sacred valley. It is also the sacred Milky Way that mirrors the Urubamba, the sacred valley. Mm-hmm. And serpent is everything, I think we were talking about it, from the sperm movement all the way to the Milky Way movement, and the DNA coil to everything that is life itself. And then when we go to the west, we have Otorongo, or Hatun Michi.
Or Chukachunche.
Chukachunche, it's beautiful, beautiful language. Huh? And Chukachunche is the great cat, the big cat. And you see through the Karo tradition, you have really the Chukachunche is the puma up in the mountains. It becomes the mountain lion when it comes a little lower to the valley. And then when it comes from the lower valley into the jungle, it's the jaguar. It all signifies the same big cat, Hatun Michi, big cat. And Hatun Michi represents no fear. It is the top predator from mountains all the way into the jungle. It is a top predator. There is nothing that is going after a jaguar or after a puma. It is the one on the top of the food chain. So imagine that the puma or the jaguar will never look behind it to see if something is stalking it. That would be simply silly. No one stalks a jaguar. Mm-hmm. So it teaches us no fear in this world or the next. And they say this because jaguar is also the one that gives ability to the shaman to be able to move from this world to the spirit world. Mm-hmm. Now, this has been a great mystery, or it's a mystery for us because there's a veil between us and the spirit world. Yet the essence is that I think all of us deep inside us realize that the spirit world is real, that we are a spirit within a body. Mm. We're embodied spirits. And the spirit world essentially is, I want to say, into my direct experience, the spirit world is about 10,000 times more real than this world. It is more real. It's what animates us. It's what makes this flesh and bones move and smile and smile even more when I see my Hatun Michi. It's what makes us live and want to live. That spirit within you. And it teaches us no fear in this world or the next. Connects us to the spirit world. And then when we go to the north, we have Colimbri. Colimbri is the hummingbird, the sweet hummingbird, which teaches us, says that as small as you are, define your boundaries. Mm-hmm. Speak up where you want to create your boundaries. Set your boundaries. And also something that is beautiful, and close to 20 years ago, when I was diagnosed with cancer. And I started studying with the shamans in order to help me heal. Besides my surgery, I think the most important thing that I did was study with the shamans to change my reality. And so I did. When I learned about hummingbird, it said it teaches us perseverance. Because hummingbirds can be just a little bit bigger than a bumblebee, or the smallest bird that exists. And they do this migration that they cross. I mean, they leave from Canada and go to Patagonia. And there's one passing that they do from Florida to Yucatan Peninsula, and that's over, like, I want to say 1,500 miles, and say it as the seagulls pass. About 1,500 miles over the Gulf of Mexico. And it's a bird this big. So it has to fuel up. And one of the things is that it has to be eating constantly, because it burns a lot of calories as it flaps its wings 10,000 times per minute. So in order to do that crossing, it needs to persevere because if it doesn't make it across, it will fall into the water and die. And so it has to cross. And it knows that it will reach the other side. It will receive beautiful nourishment. It will receive the nectar of the flowers. And it teaches us through that perseverance. Like, as small as you feel when you're in difficult moments in your life, just keep on pushing. Think of the sweetness. Thinking you're bigger than a hummingbird. If the hummingbird can do it, you can do it. It also flies back, and I will give it to you, because I want to say that the Taoism, I say about the similarities of yoga and shamanism, but when we go to Taoism, the martial arts, it's by itself a whole other shamanic practice, like the yogic. And I say this because also the North, when the hummingbird teaches us how to fly back and heal our past, and also it takes us back to fly as far back as our ancestors, and opens the door to our ancestors' lineage, so we can make changes on our DNA. And so we can invite the ancestors to help us move and tap into what is essential, right? Because in the modern world, we think, oh, now we know, the ancient ones didn't. That's by far not true. Now we have just Facebook and a lot of games that people were all lost in. It's a huge generalization, but I think it's pretty accurate too. So ancestors come from the North, and I connect that because the ancestors come from the North for the Taoists too. Yes. They light a candle, we bow to the North, and it's really interesting that from the mountains of China all the way to the Andes, which they were not connected by internet then.
No, there's these universal truths that are just, felt in the quality of energy. And it's just fascinating. And I want to say, as we were talking about the hummingbird, the hummingbird's so small, like Ray was saying, but not only the perseverance, but the level of commitment, like full body commitment. And I think of these small hummingbirds defending and maintaining their boundaries. They'll turn into little darts, and they will go all in. And if they need to defend, I mean, that's basically risking their own lives, right? So they have this full commitment that is really powerful.
Commitment.
And in the Keros lineage and in the Taoist, and as we look, as we feel into different cultures across the world, this energy in the North, where we look for the wisdom, we look for the wisdom in the high mountains, we look for the wisdom in the North, and that's where we face when needing to make a big decision, needing to receive wisdom, and it's, as we look to the North, it can feel like, oh, I'm looking outside of myself. But by turning the attention to the North, and this is true for the whole medicine wheel, for the entire Chakana, it's like tapping into the energy of the North in relationship to yourself, and relationship to all the landmarks of the oceans and the mountains and the rivers. But we are able to awaken an energy within ourselves. And that's where we start to kind of sit in meditation, or sit in nature in a quiet space, whether we call it meditation or not, to quiet the thinking mind and start to tap into that more subtle voice of that inner wisdom. And I don't know if you want to say anything more about that.
I think I'll let you talk about the east and take it to the eagle, and
Yeah.
from there the eagle's claw style.
That's where I wanted to take it. So as we feel into the north energy, then we turn on the medicine wheel, we turn to the east. This is really interesting because in relationship to the Europeans that discovered the Inca way of being, and as people in the northern hemisphere, in our relationship, we see this wisdom as in the south. But for them, they were in the center, right? So
Yeah.
it's really interesting. So being in the center of that culture, they would turn to the east and face the sun rising in the east. And that's exactly what the Taoist masters did. And so as we turn to the east, we greet the yang energy, we greet the beautiful sun. And as we witness the sun rising, we also witness the majestic, beautiful connection of spirit that the eagle and the condor have. And they fly wing to wing with the great spirit, and they stay above all of, I want to say, the chatter, the chatter and the hustle and bustle of, let's just say, the mundane of life. And so as we tap into the energy, the spirit, the wind of the east, we connect with the spirit as a guide, the animal spirit of the eagle and the condor. And I love it because the condor teaches us how to rise above. It teaches us how to see the bigger picture of life. And as a practitioner of Kung Fu and Tai Chi, in the martial arts practices, there's absolutely eagle claw, eagle Kung Fu, eagle Tai Chi, where we feel into that same medicine, that same energy, and where we do ceremony and we honor it through practices in the Karo wisdom. We take it into a movement practice. And actually the Karo shared with us the condor dance. It's a digestion dance to help us at the end, because the condor can eat so much and receive so much abundance from Mother Earth that then it has to stand. And before it can fly, because it has so much weight in its belly, it needs to turn. So it's just received from Mother Earth, and now it needs to turn to Father Sun and just slowly open its wings and just
takes in the sunlight
to help digest.
The photosynthesis.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It helps digest. It breaks down the food. So similar, we come into the eagle claw and we move and we spread our wings. We open our heart and we receive the medicine of eagle through the Kung Fu and the Tai Chi practices, which I will say I'm going to be sharing more practice. So for those of you that have been asking, when am I going to start sharing some Tai Chi, some Kung Fu? I have 3 weekends coming up. It's going to be 1 weekend in March, April, and May. And as I'm preparing for these 3 weekends of deep diving into Tai Chi and iron and silk, it's really, really exciting because I will be sharing the essence and I'll be going into the Taoist philosophy. And just like the Chakana, where we stand in the center of this X, of this cross, we find our way, here we go. We find our way into the center of ourselves, and we find our place of ease, where we're not leaning too much in one direction or another. We're not elevated too much or depressed too much and weighted down with heavy energy. We find this place where we can sit and really be fully in our power. And when I say power, it's like Ray was talking earlier about this marriage of the spirit with the physical. And when we have our full spirit embodied, inspirited, engaged in this physical life, then we are utilizing our full power. We can have all of our attention fully present and kind of awakened and activated in whatever it is that we're doing. And I like it, just like the hummingbird with a full-on commitment. The practices of Tai Chi allow us to bring in more spirit, move with more ease. And that's why we call it power and grace. We move with power and grace. And that is the gift that I'm going to be sharing. So I hope that you can join me.
I also see the commitment. I just posted the link for the 3 weekends of the Tai Chi. And I see someone else, I imagine Amanda and some other Jaguars already have been posting it. So check it out. More details in the upcoming Tai Chi.
And the Tai Chi will be, one of the things that is I feel excited about is that I will be sharing Kung Fu. So it says Tai Chi. It will be a Tai Chi 3 weekend. Beautiful, beautiful deep dive of philosophy practice. All of it. We're really going to go for it, but I will be sharing a lot of Kung Fu as well. So let us know. And I know we're going to be sending out an email, I believe Monday, with a payment plan so that for those of you that want to do it and need a little bit of support, we'll make sure that.
I can't wait. And we've been talking about this for quite a while. A lot of people have been asking for it. So we're going to do the 4 directions of Kung Fu and of Chakana.
And Heaven and Earth.
Heaven and Earth.
Of course.
Mother Earth and the Father Son. I can't wait. I put up a link, check it out. Click on it to just see more details.
And today you're sharing, right after this, you're going to be sharing.
I am doing a free workshop in half an hour.
In 10 minutes.
Maybe we should send in 10 minutes. So I'll put a link up for that.
I bet Amanda's got it for you. Yeah.
Could you,
Thank you,
Amanda, put up a link for that?
Amanda.
Is that it?
She got us. Yep. You're all set.
Totally. Okay. So
and you're going to be doing kind of a sneak peek of your March workshop. So Ray's going to be doing this amazing shamanism revealed, really talking about how the shamanic wisdom and practices and all these tools that have been preserved by the Caros for so many years. Now they're coming and wanting to share them with us. They've been guided that now is the time. This wisdom needs to be shared. And Ray, you're going to be talking about that today, which I'm really excited. It's going to be an hour,
talking about
power hour with Ray.
About an hour. And I will be talking about this workshop that is, when is the workshop happening?
March 18th.
March 18th. It will be a 3-hour workshop. Again,
and Francisco will be with us.
Don Francisco, my beloved teacher, will be with us. And so I'll share a little bit today about why shamanism is important today. I mean, I know we live through the martial arts, yoga and Tai Chi and shamanism. It's our entire life. And I think we're pretty much as modern gets, from flying to Costa Rica, to riding our motorcycle, to being present online. And I think what it's really given us, I know what it's given us, and it gives us is a very different way of being, of having solutions for all these things that I've learned through shamanic work, and all the stress of the body that we release from Tai Chi and doing the sword forms and doing the yoga, really just empower us on a whole different level to live everyday life in the modern world. I'm not going to say effortlessly, but I'm going to say with that perseverance, with commitment, with fearlessness, with grace, kindness, and compassion, for everyone around us and for ourselves. Just stepping out of the collective consciousness suffering and stepping out of the narrator mind of the collective. That, some things have to be this way and that way. Everything has to be this way or that way. And if it's not, it's wrong, and you're not good enough. All these paradigms that have come up after the Dark Ages and still enslave people.
There's like this, it's interesting. There's like this echo of that past time. And what's so interesting is that with the human body, with the human psychology, an impression of something can feel as real. It's equally as real, just the impression of a past happening as something actually happening now. And I think that's where the shamanism can really, and you're going to talk about that today.
It's like, for me, it's
like
the
link is there if you want to jump in.
While they say they're not putting people to the fire when they're discovered that they're a magician, they do magic or they do healing, there's definitely a lot of canceling happening in Facebook, and there's definitely a lot of persecution for anything that's like, I mean, even to the level that I remember, it's like doing a yoga training here with Sarat Joyce, Patabi Joyce's grandson, and the police came to stop the workshop because the church said that the devil's work was being done. It's just like, this is just 15 years ago in Greece. And it just shows up in so many ways. It's an echo, it's a deafening echo, because it's like, it's like, do you believe in magic? I don't know if I believe in this work. I always hear this. Do you believe in yoga, or do you believe in shamanism? And the essence is, do you believe in yourself? This is what these practices are about, cultivating your own personal energy and freedom, nothing else.
Well, we'll sign off here because in 5 minutes you'll be live on Zoom. I hope you
I gotta
guys can
run.
join us. It will be really fun, a little bit more personal engagement and interactive.
We'll be on Zoom, so bring some questions. Send a few emails to friends and tell them to come over. About 1 hour
Yeah.
of free workshop right now.
And the recording,
very-
if you're seeing this not live, you can register and get the recording, which will be fun as well.
All right, I see already some horpichai.
Yay,
Thank you,
love
thank
you guys
thank
so
you.
much.
Love
So
you
much
too.
love.
Love you all.
Mwah.
Check out the again the link. If you don't get it right here, right now, it's on the first page on the homepage of our website.
Jaguarpath.com.
See you in 5 minutes.
Bye.